Welcome, welcome, everybody. We're so happy you're here today. This is a celebration webinar of our new directors. For about the last 10, 11 years, we have had one location for year two. And now it's really, really exciting that we're opening up to 3 locations. And I'm talking about North America. We also have Europe. So we have a location in England. My name is Donna. I'm Donna's daughter, and I want to welcome all of you to this webinar, and it will be recorded. So if you're watching this later and you aren't watching it live, we still welcome you to the webinar. So first of all, I would like to bring 2 guests on, 2 special guests today. Donna and David are with us, and I'll bring them on in just a moment. But to let you know, after they talk to you for a little bit, we'll have about a half hour with the directors. Sandy Roberts, who will have her location in Baltimore. We have Teresa Lake, who will have her location in Arizona. And Mary Ann Wilkins, who will have her location in Chicago. You'll get to hear from them for about 30 minutes, all about their region, their centers, who they are as women. So you can feel really good about your choice and where you are going for year 2. And at the end, about the last 15 minutes, we'll have Q&A, and you'll be able to ask questions. And we have a wonderful tech angel behind the scenes, and I'm just going to ask her, Carrie, is it true that they will, if they want to ask a question, can they type that into the chat box? Is that how they do it? Just give me a thumbs up or a nod. Yes? Okay, everybody. So if you have a question, you type that into the chat box. I will see it, and then I'll ask the questions of our directors. We'll also have our Director of Education on, Michelle Ernest, to be answering your questions. But first and foremost, let's welcome Donna and David. Hi, Mom. Hi, David. You have the floor for a couple of minutes. So go ahead and say whatever you would like to say about this new exciting endeavor that we are bringing to the world.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. Yeah, we're really happy to be here. We are so excited about this new evolution of our certification program, which for the last 10 years at least has been in Arizona. And, you know, about 10 years ago also, we regionalized our first year. So we have more than 50 locations around the world. And now we are regionalizing the second year. And it's going to be wonderful for people. It will mean easier access. You can choose which is the easiest way to place to go to. Again, it can be Phoenix, Arizona, or Baltimore, or Chicago. And you have great directors. You are going to be so blessed, and wonderful, wonderful foundation teachers, or not foundation, regular teachers. It's going to be wonderful for you. It'll be easier connection because smaller classes. It's going to be very, very nice. And
it's a wonderful evolution for us as an organization because it gets more personalized as we regionalize.
Yeah.
And we are just so blessed to have cultivated such a great faculty and such great directors. And the faculty, the same faculty that's been teaching with us for the last dozen years, is going to be teaching in the region. So there's nothing lost in this for you as the student.
Yes.
And year 2 is such a fabulous year. You finish foundations and you say, oh my God, is there anything more to teach? How much is there? And there is. And what you'll find is that everything that you learned in year 1 becomes more embedded, becomes more natural, becomes more practiced, becomes more part of who you are, and then you're able to take it in new directions, and really, really powerful new directions.
Plus, there will still be new material in year 2. I mean, you're going to love year 2. And as David said, I mean, you certainly can open a practice afterwards. But for many of you, you may just want to do it for yourselves, for your families and your friends. And I mean, it's such a great education, a great experience. we're very excited for you.
So now what you want to do is get to know the 3 regional directors, and that's what this call is all about. So Donna, back to you.
Thank you. All right, so we have our first question. I would like Sandy Roberts to go first. And Sandy, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your life before EEM, how you got started in EEM. Tell us about where you live. Do you have kids? The personal stuff, as much personal stuff as you want to tell.
Thank you, Dondi. Welcome to this webinar. I'm excited to be here, but EEM plays a major role in my life. I'm an advanced practitioner and I have a private practice in Frederick, Maryland. I'm also a foundations teacher. I'm on the faculty for the certification program, and I'm also honored to be the regional education coordinator, where I work with the EM 101 teachers and our awesome foundations teachers, who I'm sure a lot of you are taking classes with at this point in time. So what was my life like before EEM? Well, we go back a while. When I graduated from college, I became a social worker. And then after a while, the family started coming along, and 5 kids in 10 years. And it was a wonderful experience as we raised them, but nutrition became a very important part of my life. I was introduced to Adele Davis and learned about how nutrition affects the mind and the body. So as the kids grew up, nutrition became even more important, connecting me into a chiropractor who used muscle testing. And so I was very intrigued, went out and bought the book Touch for Health and studied that and started using that on my family. So as the kids got older, I sort of went on into another part of my life and just became a nutrition educator and worked in that field. But then I went on a trip to Virginia Beach and introduced to Edgar Casey and the ARE. And that was my introduction to Donna Eaton and energy medicine, because they sent me a flyer that said, hey, Donna Eaton is coming for a weekend class. And I saw her face and I just had to go. And EEM has been part of my life ever since that moment in time. So I had an opportunity to take foundations at a local level when it was the first time it became regionalized. And I jumped on the chance, and EEM is just in my heart and soul. I love teaching it. I love working with it. I love watching people, the way it empowers them. And it's just a lovely part of my life. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Sorry for my pause, everybody. I'm muting myself while the directors are talking, so it takes me a minute to unpause. Thank you so much. Teresa Lake, let's go to you. How did you find Eden Energy Medicine, and what brought you to us?
So my name is Teresa Lake, and I have 1 child. He is 10 years old, and my husband and my son and I live in Chandler, Arizona. And previously, I was an English teacher, then PE teacher, and I decided I really don't care if people know how to throw a ball or make a basket. And so I introduced yoga into the PE curriculum. And so I taught yoga for PE credit, one of the first in the nation. And about 15 years of doing that, I decided to become a high school counselor. And in my counseling training, someone mentioned EFT. And I didn't understand what she was saying. And so I looked it up and I got onto these videos. And then someone else said, oh, if you like EFT, you'll like Donna Eden. So I didn't know anything about the program. I signed up for class 1. I thought it was just a weekend class. I had no idea that I was going to be in this 4 years later or 6 years later. I was just going for a weekend class. And each time I said, no, I can't go on. And here I am, I'm in year 4 now, and I'm very excited. And I quit my job, and I am a full-time practitioner now, and I'm excited to move on. I got into EM, I stayed in EM because it's changed my life and I feel 100% better. I have the energy to do things. I am nicer, a lot nicer. And I just absolutely love it.
Thank you, Teresa. And before I go on to Marianne, for those of you who have just joined us, we are getting to know the directors right now. And in about 20-25 minutes, we'll allow for questions, so you'll be able to ask your questions. And the way you're going to do that is you look on your computer screen for a little chat box. And it looks like a little bubble, like one of those thought bubbles that comes out of someone's head. Usually the icon looks like that. Look for chat, type your questions in there. I will see them, and then I can ask them at the end. But right now we're going to get to know Marianne a little bit. She's out of Chicago. Marianne, tell us who you are, how you came to us, a little bit about yourself as a woman.
Well, thank you, Dondi. First of all, I'm just really excited to be here. I can hardly wait for this year to kick off with our training in Chicago. I started my life down the plane of a chemical engineering degree and joined several companies working in manufacturing and then off to consulting. And then the last 20 or so years, I've been a global executive for one of the Fortune 10 companies, traveling around the world, installing applications and doing development work completely out of my degree area. And some say it was the universe telling me something, but I graduated from my year 2 program on a Tuesday, and on Wednesday, I got retired for the company that I'd been working for 17 plus years. So it was kind of like the universe saying, hey, time to move into what's truly where you need to be, the healing area. I started in this stuff probably in the early 90s. My husband and I would go to every training to get our hands on, and it was all for our pets. So half my practice in Chicago is for pets, and half the practice is for people. I think most of the people come to me through their pets and then say, wow, it works so well for them. Let me try it out on the human side. So I have 3 children that came to us as foster children and that we have brought into our lives as we adopted them. They're 1 in college, 2 in high school. And you'll probably see my cat walk through the camera. We've got a few other cats and dogs in the house that we foster and use energy medicine on as well. Pranic healing was my first introduction to the alternative healing area. And energy medicine, I believe, has saved my life. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2001. And I was one of the first people who had a practitioner in my surgical suite as I was going through the surgery. And here I am many, many years later. So I'm very thankful for energy medicine. And I'm currently completed year 3 and will do year 4 in 2020 with Maddie in Europe. So love the work.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you so much for that. So my next question for the 3 of you is one where I would like you to get really detailed. And I wrote some notes down. This is about your venue, the city, the state, what kind of building. Is it a school, a hospital, a hotel? What are the surroundings like? City, trees, restaurants? Is it historic? Is it new? Is it modern? Is it downtown? What is the best airport to fly into? Or is there another mode of transportation? Do you have an amazing subway or an incredible train you want to tell people about? Highlight that for the listeners, the viewers today. And what do you love about your area? That's what we really want to know, because I know the 3 of you, and I know the 3 of you love where you are opening your centers, and I've gotten to hear about that. So let's let the students, the foundation students, and also any faculty or teachers who might be on with us, let's hear about that. And Teresa, I'm going to hand it to you first.
All right. Well, I am in Chandler, Arizona. We are about 15 minutes from Sky Harbor Airport. It's just south of the airport. And the great thing is most likely the time that you come in, it will be reverse traffic. So you don't have to worry about, it takes 15 minutes, but if you come in during bad traffic, it could take 40 minutes to get here. So you will come in, our class is going to start on Thursday night around 4 o'clock. So whenever you land, if you come the day before, or if you come that day, you won't hit the traffic. So come on in before 3 o'clock if you're driving. So that is Sky Harbor. We also have a lot of people coming from the west, and they might want to fly Allegiant Air. And if that's the case, they can fly into the Mesa Gateway Airport. That's about 25 to 30 minutes from the venue. So a lot of times it seems like it's too far away, but we're in the East Valley, so you can fly into the second airport. The great thing about my venue is the little area around it. So Chandler is a suburb of Phoenix, but it really is a tiny little small town. The downtown is probably 4 blocks long. It's building every day, so it seems like you're in the city, but all of a sudden it's very small. We're staying in a hotel was built in 1912. It was one of the first hotel resorts in the Arizona, sorry. And Dr. A.J. Chandler bought up 18,000 acres of land. And then he started selling off parcels one year on the condition that you had to build something within a year. So his vision was to have this little downtown with trellises, and there's a covered walkway for everywhere you go. And that's still the feeling of downtown. The hotel has been revamped, so 1912 sounds great until you sleep in a bed from 1912. So it's not that. They're nice and comfortable beds. I just went to a party there the other night, and the food was great. The people were very welcoming. All the servers were great. And they didn't know that I had set up this venue, so they weren't even trying to be really nice to me. They were just nice. So I'm very excited about that. It's free parking. A lot of times when you go hotel, you realize, oh, I just paid $20 a day for parking this car. You don't have to worry about that. You can walk anywhere. There's restaurants all around. When you fly in on the first class, there'll be a farmer's market going right across the street. You can get some veggies for the week and some fruit. There's some water fixtures. We are in the desert, so there's not a lot of water. There is a pool, but we do have a fountain that you can see and hear the water if you need to. We have some grass outdoors, real grass. It's chemically treated, but it's real grass. And so you have all of the elements there. We have some nice big palm trees. And it's just a really great place. The food, any kind of food you want. There's vegetarian options, there's steak, there's French, there's Chinese, Italian. Everything you want is literally within 2 to 3 minutes of walking distance from the hotel. I think I hit all of your questions. Oh, and the weather's great.
That was my next question. It's always great, isn't it? I mean, maybe bring a sweater for nighttime.
Yeah, actually, it can get, even in the May, it can get cool at night. Like I have a sweater on right now. For us, it's freezing. It's like 60 some degrees. So the sweaters are nice because the hotels get very, very cold. So even in the summer when you come in July, bring a sweater and maybe long pants because it gets cold inside.
Yes, thank you. I think that is true for every hotel across our nation now. We all run the air conditioning very high. Thank you for that, Teresa. Marianne, let's go to you next. Tell us about your venue.
Awesome. Well, we're having it in Chicago, actually in the city, but on the northwest side. So it's a residential neighborhood. It's an old school from the turn of the century that the Chicago Public School decided to not use. So the Irish have taken it over. It's an Irish American Heritage Center. It's been used for many, many years for education around the Irish community, but it's part of my community where I live, and they support educational events like ours. It's a true school. Like I said, it's a high school. We'll be taking over the 3rd floor. It's beautiful sunlight coming in. There's windows along all the walls. So we can open windows, close windows. We have air conditioning. We have heat, of course, for Chicago. Beautiful hardwood floors. And then on the 2nd floor, there's actually the Irish Heritage Center. So there's a library. So if people want to wander through the Irish Heritage Library or have access to that at the center. And of course, what's an Irish Heritage Center without a pub? They actually have a pub. So if you want true Irish food on Friday, Saturday nights, they actually, sometimes Thursday night, depending on the season, they actually have an Irish pub with Irish music playing in the evening. As we all know, many times we're really tired and after our training, we're heading back to the hotel. Our hotel is about 15 minutes away. I've selected Marriott Spring Hill Suites as our hotel of choice. The beauty of it is you can land at O'Hare and catch the shuttle. 5 to 10 minutes, you're at your hotel. From there, the training center is about 15-minute drive. Or, one of the things I kept looking at, I looked at a location, was how accessible is it and how affordable it is. You do not need a rental car or a car to get around. You can get fully to and from your hotel with either the public transportation. As Donna mentioned, we have the wonderful elevated train in Chicago that you can take from airport downtown. And ours is just 4 or 5 stops from that O'Hare, and 3 stops from the hotel. So it's really accessible if you want to go the public transportation route, or you can hop a lift for a few bucks and get there easily. So again, very affordable location and accessible to all. What I love about it is the openness of the classrooms. And around there, we have a park a couple blocks away. And of course, Chicago, my sister informed me, and I looked it up, it's real. Condé Nast Traveler and Time Out Magazine for the last 2 years have touted that Chicago is the #1 city to visit. We've got museums, architecture, we've got the lakefront. There is so much about Chicago that's really cool. So come a couple days early, stay a couple days late, and really enjoy it. I think I've hit on everything. And I guess the closest airport is O'Hare. You can, of course, fly into Midway, but that's about a 45-minute to an hour south. And many people that have inquired are taking Amtrak in because, again, the location is very accessible where you can hop Amtrak into Union Station in Chicago and then grab the Blue Line up to your hotel. Very easy access. And, of course, back to Teresa's comment on parking. Parking in Chicago can be atrocious, as people know, but I've negotiated free parking at the hotel, free parking at the school. So instead of getting hit with not just $20 in Arizona, it'd be 40 to 50 in Chicago. We have free parking at both the hotel and the school that we're at. That's Chicago.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marianne. And before we go on to Sandy, I would like to welcome those of you who have come on a little bit late. We're meeting the directors right now, talking about the venues. And this is all being recorded, so don't worry if you came on late and if you missed some. And I do want to shoot a question over to Teresa real fast, because Teresa, you may be able to see it on the screen. What is the name of your hotel venue in Chandler?
Hi, as soon as I got off, I realized I did not say San Marcos. It might be either San Marcos Resort or San Marcos Crown Plaza Resort. They're in the middle of a name change. So anything you type in, both of those should work.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I do see some questions coming in, and we're going to get to the questions toward the end of our getting to know you with the directors. So I'll try to get it to as many questions as we can. We'll also have Michelle Ernest on, our Director of Education. And Donna and David are here, and they can answer some questions. Oh, and it says Donna and David now. Terrific. They were Dondi before. There were 2 Dondis, but now they're actually Donna and David. So Sandy, let's shoot it over to you, Sandy Roberts. You'll be in Baltimore. Tell us about that.
Well, when I set out to find a venue, I had a set of criteria that I was looking for. And I looked at hundreds of websites. I visited at least 12 different locations. And I found what I was looking at the Turf Valley Resort. It had classrooms that had big windows so that we had natural lighting in the facility. I walked into this building and I was just felt the energy and felt warmth and welcoming, and it was like, this is it when I walked in. And then when I saw the classroom, I was like, okay, yes, this is great. Plus, we have individually controlled thermostats in each of our rooms. So if we feel like we're getting a little cold, we can turn our own thermostat and change that. We don't have to wait for somebody else to do that change for us. So that was exciting for me too. If you're wanting to drive there, there are lots of the interstates all sort of come into Baltimore, Washington area. So it's an easy drive. It's economical. There's a huge 1,500 car parking lot, which is all free parking there also. So you can park, you can drive. If you wanted to fly, you would come into BWI, which is Baltimore Washington International Airport. And that is about a 20-minute ride from the airport to the Turf Valley Resort. And you can get a super shuttle or again, use Lyft or Uber to get there. Each of the rooms that you'll be staying in have a refrigerator in them. So if you want to bring some of your own food, if you have certain eating patterns that you need to fulfill, you can bring that food along with you to have along there. I always, when I went to Phoenix, I got tired of eating in restaurants, so I would always bring food with me so that I had a variety of foods to eat. So that's a possibility for you to make sure you have that available. There's a microwave and a Keurig coffee maker in each of the rooms also. When you come to classes 5 and 6, you'll have access to the newly renovated outdoor pool that they have, and it's a great place to cool off during those summer months. When you come back in the fall, they have an indoor pool, they have a sauna, they have a hot tub, and you'll also have splash of color of the trees that surround the property. So each season in Maryland, we truly get the 4 seasons here in Maryland, and that's what I love about it, that every season is unique and lovely as they pass along. I love that we do have the changes. That's what I like about this here. So in addition, there's basketball courts and other amenities, a playground, and what I love too is there's a nature trail that's available. That'll help you stay grounded along the way. So it's just the block of rooms that we have there. We've negotiated a rate that's the same for every single class that you come in. And the rate's available 3 days before and 3 days after so that you can enjoy the area, because you can go down to the Ellicott City, which is just a few miles away from the Turf Valley Hotel. And that's a historic town, or you can go visit Baltimore's Inner Harbor, or even you're real close to our state capital of Annapolis. So there's lots of things to see. Washington, D.C. is just a short drive also, so it's a beautiful area to explore. Central Maryland is gorgeous no matter what time of the year you come, and just come and enjoy the area, the ambiance, and even energy medicine.
Thank you, Sandy. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So a couple of questions have come in that I am going to have covered in an email. It's going to be really clear for you to be able to read the dates and times of the classes for each director, and we'll send that out as soon as we can after this webinar. We'll also talk about massage tables in that email, because there are quite a few students who aren't on this webinar, and it will be easier, I think, for you to read. So those two, massage tables, dates and times, we'll cover in a follow-up email. For now, I have another question for the directors, and that is for the 3 of you. What really motivated you to answer this call when InnerSource said, guess what, we're going regional, we're going across as many cities as we can, and we want you to respond to us with all of the reasons why you would open a center. Tell the listeners today, the viewers today, what were some of those reasons? What made you feel really passionate that I can do this, I want to do this, and I want to help Eden Energy Medicine and this brand new model of the certification program? And Marianne, we'll go to you first.
Thank you, Dondi. I think the biggest reason why I did this is my love for the work. When I started learning it and experiencing it myself, I was like, wow, I've got to have more of this. And what I saw in my classes, I took my foundations in Chicago. I had 3 awesome teachers with Sarah Ellen Marjorie and Deborah Burchard. There were people that couldn't move on because for whatever reason, they couldn't make it out to Phoenix and be at the Wigwam Resort. And so, it's when you look around and you see that happening year after year, it's like, wow. I wanted to create a place where people could come that would be affordable, where they'd have access to it. And I really felt confident I could do that. I've done it before with Tellington Touch, of course, back to my animals. I've worked a lot with Linda Tellington Jones and setting up workshops here for that. And I've truly enjoyed working with the students and being able to give them an experience, a place where they could experience the training to the best of their abilities. And so I think it's really the love of the work. And also with my corporate background, being organized and having a global responsibility of working around the world and seeing how there's many different ways to do things. And I felt like I could bring my touch to the Eden Energy world in Chicago. And with it being one of the major hubs for flying and travel, I felt it would be an easy, accessible location for everyone. But mainly it's my love of the work, and I can hardly wait to bring it and make it more accessible to people, particularly in the Midwest or from around the world, since Chicago's a great place to land. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you. Let's go to Sandy Roberts. What inspired you to say, yes, I'm going to open a center?
The students. As a foundations teacher, I saw students that weren't able to go on to year 2 because of various things. It might have been finances. It might have been their work schedule. It might have been their health, or it might have been they needed to stay home to take care of family. They needed to stay closer to home. So I just always thought it was a shame that they couldn't continue on for these various reasons. So when I saw that the regional program was being introduced, I thought, wow, this would be a great opportunity for these students to be able to get something that's closer to home, maybe fit into their work schedule, fit into their budget easier, not being away so much from their families. And maybe this could be a way that more students, more people could learn more techniques and take it back to their families, their communities, and help everybody out. When I started putting the proposal together, a particular student that I'd had in my class from the year before who couldn't go on came to my mind, and she would make such a perfect practitioner and just really a love of the work that she had, but because of circumstances, she could not move on. And that made me start thinking there's more and more and more students like that out there. And I really wanted to create that opportunity for these students. And the East Coast, Baltimore's perfectly situated pretty much halfway between Maine and Florida, and it's an easy place to get in and out of. There's airports, there's the Amtrak that goes up and down the road, and we've got major highways that bring you in and out. So that seemed like a really good fit and easy way for people to get to rather than having to fly to, you know, just one location. They had a choice to go to somewhere closer. And the regional program, I just felt like I was part of that very first foundations program that Donna alluded to earlier, that when they regionalized foundations, I was able to take that. And I don't know if I ever would have gone out to Phoenix to do the program if that opportunity hadn't been given to me. So I feel like I'm giving back what that opportunity was at the foundations level and giving it now for more people to come in at that year 2 level to regionalize these programs. So that was important too. I love organizing events. I have done lots of different retreats, conferences on a variety of topics for probably over 30 years, and it just excites me when I have something that I really love to share with other people. And so being able to provide this EM training to students 4 times a year and watch their growth over that time just was a perfect opportunity to make this more, make EEM more in our communities, bring it out. And I said it just puts a total smile on my face as I think about it, and it activates my radiant circuits whenever I think about these classes being started, and I'm excited about the whole program. So thank you, Donna and David, for this opportunity. I'm overwhelmed.
Thank you, Sandy. We're very excited as well. And before I go to Teresa, I just want to make it really clear that these amazing women will be running the centers. You, coming to year 2, will have more than one teacher teaching you now. So at Foundations, you probably had one teacher, maybe 2, maybe there were co-teachers, maybe a teacher's assistant, but now you'll have more than one teacher. And it's an amazing experience to really be able to absorb Eden Energy Medicine from more than one person and their history and their expertise and their years in the field. So these women right now who are talking to you are the big cheese of their centers. They'll be running the centers and helping the students and the faculty and working with the curriculum and the handouts and making sure that your experience is the very best it can be. But you'll also have faculty members there, and I just wanted to make that clear. We have a list of well over 35 faculty members who will be rotating to these different centers, and so you're going to have just a fabulous experience. All right, Teresa, it's you. What inspired you?
So first, I want to just kind of take off where Sandy left off. Is I have so much gratitude for having this opportunity. I am a TA for Melanie Gabriel. She was my foundation teacher in Phoenix, Arizona. And when this message came out that they were going to regionalize, I thought, this is fantastic, because if I lived in Chicago or anywhere else in the United States other than Phoenix, I wouldn't have been able to do year 2. And I thought, this is a great idea. And people in the class said, Teresa, you should do this. And I thought, no, that's for an advanced faculty member, not me. And after the text kept coming in saying, you should really do this, you'd be great at it, I thought, I should do this. What if I fail? That's okay. So, but I didn't, and I was given this opportunity, and I'm very, very excited about it. But when I was a teacher, so my background, again, the teaching, if you came on late, 25 years in Arizona education, my main goal every single day was, how is this best for the students? What am I doing in my day that's best for the students? When I was a young teacher, I thought I was doing everything for the students, but probably wasn't. It was more about me. But after I grew up a little bit, I realized I really, truly need to stop, look, observe, and see what I'm doing. So this opportunity to have 3 regional centers to open up, I think this is going to just blow up and give the people the opportunity to go to 3 different centers with these amazing faculty. I'm just filled with gratitude. The faculty members I have coming in so far, and mind you, I don't know how many students I'm going to have, so I don't have the faculty yet, but I have a variety of people picked. And so everyone will be coming in from, I have East Coast teachers, Canada, West Coast. And so I'm very excited about this year. So my main reason for the students, but selfishly, I get to be with these great teachers too. So that's another reason on why I decided to do this. It's a selfish reason. I'm just kidding. It's really about the students.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. So what I'd like to do with our last 10 minutes or so here is I want to bring on Michelle Ernest. Carrie, I know you're behind the scenes. If you can try and get her on, that would be great. I'll tell you a little bit about Michelle. She has been our Director of Education, and she is going to retire from Director of Education soon. However, she'll still be a part of us. She'll still be teaching for us, and we're going to probably be giving her a lot of phone calls like, Michelle, help. What do we do with this? So we'll be using Michelle long after she's retired. But what she's doing now is she is helping us transition from being in Phoenix for all of these years to transitioning to these 3 centers, also still helping us with England, and it's just wonderful. So I do see your questions for our viewers. Thank you. They're excellent questions. I see the ones about massage tables. days and times for classes? Are there coffee makers, refrigerators? We're going to address those in an email. Okay, so that will help everybody to be able to see those answers. Michelle, what I'd love for you to talk about are questions that I've been getting over the last week, and I've been getting a lot of the same ones, and they're very important. And these are some of them. People are wondering, can they switch locations from maybe from America over to the UK? Please talk about the UK and the dates there, how they aren't really going to match up for this first year. Maybe you can touch on that a little bit. Can somebody take time off in between? Can they take a couple classes, take some time off, and then come back to us? I would love if you can touch on those, and then I may have one more question before we close our webinar today. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Donna. Thank you. Those are great questions. And I think when you're thinking about coming to year 2, all of these things sort of swirl around in your mind. You know, will I be able to, to do all 4 classes in one location? What if something happens and I can't do a particular date? It is possible to switch locations in year 2. You can do that. There are some challenges with that, though, because each location is on a little different timetable, and so their requirements for when your writtens and demos have to be completed they vary. So it can be really tight to try to move from one location to another and still get your work done, you know, in a timely fashion. That doesn't mean you can't do it. We certainly are going to work with you if there's a circumstance that comes up that makes it impossible for you to continue at a certain center, or you have to move for one class. But I think when you pick a center, you should think about it as being your home for the year, because you're going to get to know the center, the location, the students that you're in class with. You sort of become your own little tribe, kind of like you do in foundations. You know, you get so close to the people that are there. So yes, we will work with you if there's an issue and you have to move around. The directors are all willing to do that, but we really would like you to think about this as your home for year 2. As far as going to the UK, there is not a year 2 class in the UK next year. We do not have year 2 classes in the UK until the 2020-2021 school year. So next year, all the year 2 classes are going to be in the US. So I hope that helps.
That helps a lot. Thank you, Michelle. And I have just one final question for today. And Michelle, you may want to answer this. David and Mom, I don't know if you want to chime in. That's about review classes, post classes. I've gotten a lot of questions about this. What exactly are they? Who do we know who's teaching? What are the topics? So quite a few of those have come in over the last week. If you can just touch on those a little bit. We can also send out information in an email. I see more and more questions coming in, and we don't have enough time to answer all of these, but I've taken notes on all of them. They're over to the side of my camera. That's why you see me looking to the side. But we will answer all of these questions in an email for you. But right now, if we can touch on review classes and post classes.
Review classes and post classes are like the icing on the cake for coming to a class. The review class gives you an opportunity to really go over the information from the previous class before you jump into new material. So when you're coming to class 5, the review class will be a nice overview of some of the topics and foundations that we have found that most students have challenges with and just need a little bit of tweaking before they come in. The review class, depending on which location you come to, will have slightly different hours, and that will come out in the email information as well. The post classes are just really rich enrichment opportunities for you. They are a topic about Eden Energy Medicine that expands either something you were taught in class or goes a little bit further and maybe gives you some additional information or little tweaks about how a faculty member is interpreting this and kind of making it their own. So the review classes happen after the year 2 class is done for that time. And again, those times will vary depending on which location that you're at. There are additional costs for the review and post classes. It's very small. It's mostly just to cover expenses, but they are great opportunities if you can come in a little bit early to have time to kind of, you know, get up to speed a little bit on things, or if you can stay a little bit late to kind of take the material and go to the next level. So I think they're one of the best things that we offer in the Eden Energy Medicine Certification Program is this opportunity to have a great review before you start class and an opportunity to maybe think a little bit outside the box after the class is over.
Thank you, Michelle. That's excellent. So I just want to wrap this up, Mom and David. I'll have you say the final words in just a moment. But I also want to mention someone who isn't on this call, actually two people. Someone is behind the scenes and someone else is flying to Oregon right now. We're having our yearly staff meetings in Oregon right now. And that's Jeffrey McDonald. He's our COO, and you'll see his name. You'll see his name pop up on emails and other places. He really wanted to be here with you, but he's on a plane, probably landing in Medford, Oregon right now. And then the other person is Lori Katz. Lori has been with us for many, many years. She's one of our original employees in the company. She used to work in a little closet in the very beginning when Mom and David were going off to sign books around the world and promote their products. Lori was working for them back home in Oregon, and she's with us, and she has a big hand in year 2 and helping everything go smoothly. So you'll see Lori's name pop up. And I just want to say thank you to all of you, to the directors, to Carrie behind the scenes for making this webinar run well. Michelle, thank you for coming on. I think that anyone who's going on to year 2 is just going to have the best experience of your life. I am so excited for you. We all are. I see your questions. We'll put the answers in an email. We'll send it out to you. This is being recorded, so you'll get to listen to it again, watch it again if you'd like. And now, Mom and David, would you like to say anything here at the end while the foundation students are watching and our faculty and probably some of our staff are on? If you'll give the final words for now for this webinar.
Okay. Well, it was very moving sitting here and listening to you regional directors talk and hearing about your past. I know that this is going to be so wonderful for anybody who takes this. I'm so glad for everyone who goes on, because it's going to be quite magnificent, and you will love it. It's a great education, but it's also great camaraderie. You will make new friends. I've had people tell me that this is the best friends they've ever had in their lives. They feel like a tribe. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
A lot of people have said that their graduation from the certification program was more meaningful to them than their college graduation.
Yes.
And it's true. There is a community that's built of people that have a similarity of values in that they're really wanting to help make this a better, kinder world.
Yes.
And so that's who you're working with, and that's one of the reasons to stay as much as you can with the region that you start with, is so that you really let that community build. And one of the things that I've been appreciating as we've been sitting here listening is how the caring of each of the regional directors is so strong, and that's going to reverberate throughout their program. It's going to be felt by the faculty. It's going to be felt by you as students, how much good, it's just going to be like the program for the last 10 years has been wonderful. We just loved it, and it's been hard to let go of that big center, but now each of the regions is going to have its own personality and its own spirit, and that spirit is going to be able to get stronger and stronger in each region. So it's going to be real powerful centers of light in each of the regions. So it's been great to feel how this is developing right now.
Thank you, Mom and David. Thank you, Sandy and Teresa and Marianne and Michelle and Carrie and Lori and Jeffrey and everyone who is making this possible. And thank you to everyone who's here today, all the foundation students and our faculty and staff. And we will see you again soon, and you'll be getting a follow-up email with the recording and answering all of your great questions that have come in. Thank you so much, and have a great day and happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.